This young girl, overwhelmed by her longing for the hero, decided to seek him in heaven, spurred on by her companion's encouragement. On the 28th year after the hero's demise, Frieren, following the echoes of her memories, returned to the small fishing village they had once passed through on their quest to defeat the demon lord. The village, however, had changed dramatically. The shore was now cluttered with shipwrecks. This aftermath was due to the internal conflicts that erupted among the continental nations after the demon race was vanquished. The destroyed ships were carried here by ocean currents. The village chief tasked Frieren and her apprentice with clearing the coastline, offering the supposed writings of the great magician Frieren as compensation. Frieren, aware that Frieren had left no writings behind, accepted the task regardless, perhaps longing to restore the coast to its former state in her heart. Consequently, the master and apprentice decided to temporarily stay and complete this task. Utilizing levitation magic, they tirelessly moved driftwood from the sea to the shore. Observing Friren's apparent laziness, Frieren mused whether she was inherently a slothful elf. Given her need for assistance even with waking up, Frieren countered that during their travels with the hero, she had the luxury of waking up naturally, except for once when the priest became irate. After gathering all the wreckage on the beach and burning it, their work for the day was done. The village chief periodically checked on their progress, inquiring if they could finish before the New Year's festival. Assured by Friren's positive response, he expressed his hope that she wouldn't miss the festival again. He had recognized her as the girl who had visited with the hero decades earlier. Previously, Frieren had overslept and missed the festival's key moment, which had left the priest in tears all night. Determined, she decided to stay awake until dawn to witness the beautiful scene described by the hero. The following morning,
寝てる。フリーレン様、起きてください。新年祭に遅れますよ。ありがとう、フェルン。
Frieren finally rectified her past regret. Yet, she didn't initially perceive the sunrise as particularly beautiful until she saw the smile on Frieren's face, realizing that the true beauty lay not in the dawn's light but in the heartfelt joy reflected on the faces of those around her. In the 29th year following the hero's death, Frieren made a detour to visit Frieren, the only other surviving member of their quartet, the dwarf warrior. He was surprised that the typically distant Frieren had taken the time to visit him. He asked her to find the notes of the great magician Frieren in the Full Basin, rumored to contain a method for communicating with the dead. Frieren nonchalantly mentioned they were inside a specific tree, revealing that she, blessed with a long lifespan, was once Friren's foremost disciple. Frieren had planted a sapling, prophesying that Frieren would one day seek to understand humanity or yearn for the deceased, leading her to unveil the secret. Together, they embarked on an exhaustive search until Frieren discovered an exceptionally large and robust tree. Frieren activated her magic to open the long sealed door, uncovering Friren's notes intended for her. The notes indeed described the afterlife's resting place for souls, where one could converse with those who had passed. Coincidentally, this so-called heaven was located near the Demon Lord's castle on the northern continent, a destination the hero's party had once reached after a decade-long journey. However, the now elderly Frieren could no longer endure such an expedition, so he entrusted Frieren to retrace that path once more. On the 29th year following the hero's demise, their journey to the land of Soul's Rest persisted. Frieren, resting against Friren's shoulder, drifted into sleep and found herself reminiscing about a jest once shared by the priest. In her naivety, Frieren thought that by becoming a bad child, she might coax the priest to return and visit her. However, the priest, with a melancholy smile, earnestly assured her that as long as she grew up healthy and happy, he would indeed come back to see her. Awakening from her dream, Frieren felt as though that moment had just occurred the day before. Soon afterward, they arrived at a village nestled at the mountain's base. While stocking up on supplies, the shopkeeper, noting they were outsiders, kindly warned them about the perilous mountain path ahead, where several individuals had vanished, and sightings of ghost-like entities were reported. Frieren, intrigued but informed by the shopkeeper that these were merely hearsay, decided to gather more information within the village. Many villagers had encountered these ghosts, capable of mimicking the appearances of loved ones or friends. This detail alone excluded the possibility of undead beings, such as skeletons or zombies, which lack shape-shifting abilities. Preferring to steer clear of trouble, Frieren intended to circumvent the mountain path and depart the village at dawn. However, possibly overwhelmed by her longing for the priest and upon learning that the entities could mimic loved ones, Frieren was adamant about witnessing it for herself. Consequently, they opted for the mountain path the following day. Throughout their journey, they stumbled upon signs of illusion magic, a tactic employed by phantom ghosts to ensnare humans by adopting the visages of their most cherished individuals and striking at their most vulnerable. The countermeasure was straightforward. The phantom's actual forms usually hid behind the illusions, so a direct magical assault on the illusion was effective. Frieren had dispatched numerous such illusions of her master without remorse, though it invariably left her unsettled for some time. Frieren, aware they were mere illusions, questioned the rationale behind any feelings of guilt. Yet, as Frieren readied herself to strike upon hearing the priest's voice from behind, the priest began to speak.
一段と魔法使いらしくなりましたね。あなたがいい子でいた。少しだけ化けて出ることにしました。
Pausing, Frieren realized these words had always lingered in her memory. She understood that her hesitation stemmed not from the visual deception but from the poignant memories it stirred. Engulfed in these recollections, Frieren was oblivious to Florilean's calls. With no other choice, Frieren lifted her staff, prepared to dispel the priest's illusion, only to discover another figure materializing behind her. This time, contrary to previous encounters where the illusion would assume her master's form, it predictably transformed into Zinmail. Confronted with his familiar visage, Frieren conceded that he had indeed altered her life profoundly.
フリーレン撃て
However, his initial utterance ignited a fierce response in Frieren, perhaps aggravated by the notion of her friend being defiled by the phantom ghost. Her strike, potent enough to annihilate a citadel, simultaneously roused Frieren from the illusion. Upon recognizing the phantom ghost lurking behind the priest's guise, Frieren acknowledged her momentary lapse and, with a swift motion of her staff, vanquished the phantom ghost. In the 30th year following the hero's demise, Frieren ventured into a dragon's lair seeking a spell that could render clothes transparent. The spellbook was situated at the heart of the lair. While stealthily taking the book without disturbing the dragon seemed the wisest course of action, Frieren discerned that the dragon had devoured many humans and posed a continuous threat. Before Frieren could fully articulate her plan, the naive Frieren prematurely launched a spell. After escaping the immediate danger, Frieren was dumbfounded by Friren's decisive retreat. However, Frieren was keen on resuming the fight, employing guerrilla tactics to gradually wear down the dragon. Frieren, terrified by the ordeal and physically depleted, was adamant against facing the dragon again. Recognizing their need for a frontline warrior to draw the dragon's attention, Frieren remembered that a pupil of Iron resided nearby. Thus, they headed to the town in search of him. The town's prosperity astounded them, especially given its proximity to a dragon's lair, which should have led to its destruction. An elderly woman approached them, revealing that a man named Shudderuk wished to meet. She also explained the town's survival. 3 years prior, the dragon had indeed ravaged it, but Shudderuk emerged, confronting the beast alone without flinching. Since Shudderuk's arrival, the dragon had not troubled the town. They found Shudderuk, now hailed as a town hero, sitting amidst the ruins. Frieren, cutting straight to the chase, revealed her identity and invited him to join their quest to the land of Soul's Rest. Shudderuk set a condition: he would join if Frieren could eliminate the nearby dragon, aligning with one of her reasons for recruiting him. However, facing the dragon head-on was not feasible for two magicians. Frieren proposed that if Shudderuk could distract the dragon for 30 seconds, she could defeat it. At that moment, an unexpected development occurred.
やっぱりそういうことか。シュタル魔物との戦闘経験。
ゼロだよ。俺だって最初は立ち向かったんだよ。あいつ家を野菜みたいに輪切りにしちまうんだぜ。かっていいような相手じゃねえ。竜の気まぐれで助かったと思ったら。
Overwhelmed by the villagers' enthusiasm, Shudderuk found himself unable to reveal the truth, trapped by the situation. Despite Frieren's remarks, Frieren firmly believed in Shudderuk's capability to confront the dragon, with the cracked wall behind him serving as proof. She gave him one night to contemplate joining the battle. Then they returned to town. The townspeople's high regard for Shudderuk indirectly confirmed his humility despite his fame for driving off the dragon. Frieren, however, viewed him as cowardly for his reluctance to fight monsters. Frieren reminded Frieren of her own initial fear in battle, which only made Frieren pout. After dinner, as they were about to retire, a roaring sound echoed from afar. Recognizing it as Shudderuk training, Frieren suggested Frieren could observe if interested, while she opted to rest. Frieren, revisiting the ruins, had to acknowledge Shudderuk's impressive strength upon witnessing his training session.